Welcome back to Tabletop Assault. I'm Ross, and today I'm going to conclude my segment on analysing the Chaos Space Marine Codex. Now, a couple of things to address, just the elephants in the room. A couple of you may be asking, you've not reviewed demons in the Codex. Now, I did ask a general consensus of people, and they did let me know sort of what they thought, and the general consensus don't include the demons. Reason being is that if you lose your Legion trait if you took them in a detachment, and if you're generally going to review demons, do them as part of their own codex. So we left that. The other one as well is that people may have asked, why aren't you doing Fallen? Now, this one may be a bit more of a controversial one. Sure, they can be used as Chaos Space Marines, however, again, you lose your Legion rule. You can't benefit from most stratagems, and you can't benefit from psychic abilities. Not that you can benefit from any of them, because they don't have the Heretica Stars keywords. They also don't like the view of a Rhino, because they don't have the Legion keywords, so they can't go in Rhinos. Generally not so ideal on that one. Plus they have the dastardly Imperium faction keyword, which I really don't like. Damn, that can't be, very comfortable. So you could certainly have a lot of fun with them, but they just ain't Chaos Space Marines, which is something I don't really like as much. Now, just say I thought I'd check there as well. Yeah, if you include Fallen, it doesn't stop you from having your Legion traits, which is fine. They just don't benefit from it, and they can't benefit from stratagems, psychic abilities, etc. So yeah, I thought about that. I was like, no, they're like Fabius Bio. You can still keep your Legion trait. That's fine. But I'm just sort of dead against them being in my detachment. If you're not Chaos Space Marines, then you're not riding with me. Speaking of Chaos Space Marines, that brings me to sort of, my main gripe when it comes to the Codex Heretica Stars Chaos Space Marines. My main gripe is, where are all the Chaos Space Marines? Now, seriously, where? If we look at the Imperial regular Marines, we see so many of them, if not way too many choices that represents, Marines in the battlefield. Chaos Space Marines don't seem to have that as such. What I mean by this is less demon infused solutions. We need bigger Marines that, we need a bigger Marine, not one that, you stick a demon inside and go, hey, that's a new Chaos Space Marine. It can be nice to have these demon-infused units, but I just feel they don't represent, the sort of dreaded super soldier that betrayed the Imperium all these years ago. I really like demon-infused units, but personally, I just want to see more Chaos Space Marines. This goes doubly for vehicles more than any of them, where we see a plethora of demon-infused vehicles, which is cool. Some of them are awesome. The Defiler is incredibly iconic. I remember when I first saw a Defiler and I thought that is awesome. But I'd like to have ones more manned and representative of actual Chaos Space Marines. I think this is something I've brought up a few times, and some people agree and some people disagree on that point. The other thing as well is having Legion units. Rubric Marines, Khorne Berserkers, Plague Marines, and Sonic Marines. Now, it does make sense having Thousand Suns and Khorne Berserk, Rubric Marines, and Thousand Sun Sorcerers, Khorne Berserkers, etc., because they are sort of Chaos Space Marines have warbands, and they are known to work alongside the Black Legion. So it does make sense they're there, but it almost feels like they are their own Legion unit, and now that they're sort of pushing the Thousand Suns individual codex and Death Guard codex, and inevitably, probably, maybe, most likely the Emperor's Children and World Eaters codex, in time, that I just feel it's almost like taking units from Dark Angels and units from like Space Wolves. If you put them in the main Space Marine codex and go, you've got more units. It almost feels like they are plugging in units here, the demons, the Legion specific ones, and I'm just not seeing the regular Marines, non-demon infused, non-Legion specific, that are extra special, and just like the regular Marine that does a lot, And I just sort of what I see in the Chaos Space Marine Codex is I would love to see more representation of that. So that's sort of my main gripe with the Chaos Space Marine Codex. I'm very interested to hear what people think on that main point. That's a very personal one. Many people have disagreed with me, some people agree with me. Please let me know your thoughts on that. So yeah, let's speak about sort of the strengths and weaknesses of the Chaos Space Marine Codex. There's a reliable source of cheap command points in that you can get a very cheap troop in Cultists. Criminal, I think that they went up in points. I thought that was not the solution people were looking for when they were looking for maybe sort of more reasons to field Chaos Space Marines in general. It's like, I'll put up the alternative. No. But still, they are very, very cheap and helpful in that regard. However, don't expect much from Cultists unless you're planning to be very tricky with them, or taking hundreds of them with an Iron Warrior Warlord, essentially make them immune to morale, which can be pretty fun. We don't have many incredibly cheap HQs to use as that sort of battalion battery, to get loads of command points, but we do have a plethora of extremely useful HQs, one of which being Demon Prince, an absolute beast of an HQ with a lot of mobility, endurance, aura ability, psychic ability and combat potential, and can really bring a lot to the force. Now, I feel bad just ranting about too many demons in Chaos Space Marine Codex. I can see the irony of that, but Demon Prince is like what the pinnacle of a Chaos Space Marine can get to, so I can accept it. I mean, I can accept Defiler and everything, but I just want more representation of Chaos Space Marines. But the Demon Prince is certainly a character I've absolutely loved and always have loved when it comes to Chaos Space Marines, and I find it one of the best strengths within them. We have some absolutely great stratagems. There are some really reliable ones. Veterans of the Long War is by far one of the most useful stratagems in the game. There's not many ways to augment wound rolls as there is ones that can manipulate hit rolls. There's plenty of ways to manipulate hit, but not so many ways to manipulate wound. So for a command point, it gives you a host of options that if you're like, cool, I want to hit even harder with wounds, then Veterans of the Long War is incredibly useful. We also have things like Endless Cacophony, which when combined with Veterans is absolutely devastating, and I like Demon Forge as well. 3 stratagems I find are absolutely useful and used in almost every one of the games that I do use. Psychic abilities are very good with them as well. Warp Time is awesome, great way to launch a unit straight at your opponent. Prescience to make more reliable hits, which is great. And Death Hex to remove invul saves. All very powerful, work with Demon Princes and Jump Sorcerers super well. So, in terms of the psychic abilities, you also have Legion specific ones if you go down that route, which is really nice. But, unfortunately for Khorne guys, not so much. But, those are some real good strengths of the Chaos Space Marine Codex. In terms of weaknesses, however, so, okay, first I find this problem is that I kind of discussed, in the past, many of the kits for Chaos Space Marines in general are aged and don't include anywhere near the weapon options that we get for most of the use in the Chaos Space Marines. This is not uncommon in factions as a whole, but I'm finding it more affordable and frankly better poses, on Forge World stuff to get last cannons, missile launchers, etc. is to use sort of, and I'm working on them myself. I've been working on, at the moment I think they're getting painted, but trying to get them together for Havocs, is that, Forge World is providing a better solution for the heavy weapons. There's no reliable one other than the Havocs that GW supply, but they're so old they don't look the best. And I know many people, and I think one viewer especially said it, that they have actually just decided to Chaos-fy Loyalist Devastators, which is kind of cool. I can dig it. Corrupt them if you want, but it'd be really nice to have a Havoc squad that was a bit more fresh and had good poses for the heavy weapons that you are probably seeing more predominantly now, especially with the way heavy weapons work. You might chuck them in a Chaos Space Marine unit if you do use Chaos Space Marines as a unit, then you might use them more than you did in the past. So there's not an easy way to get them, which is kind of painful, except for the heavy bolter. I think they come in the general pack. So there's easy heavy bolters, but last cannons and things not so much. HQ options such as jump lords are not great models. But they are very desired in this edition. Jump packs are very useful. Harken, which I haven't reviewed, I just feel there's maybe going to be quite a few extra Chaos stuff coming imminently, possibly in the next couple of months, so there might be a wee bit of a batch of Vigila stuff. I'm not hinting, I'm not promising anything, but we might look back on some of the Chaos stuff if stuff are happening in the future. Only speculation. But Harken, though, does give some great conversion options for jump. I think it's a fantastic model, and certainly excited to convert that to make a Chaos Lord. There was also a Forge World Night Lord, which was hinted this very week, that looked amazing. It's like meant to be a jump one, which looks awesome. The weapons on that Forge World, if you've not seen it, I highly recommend to you. It's on the Warhammer community or on our social media. I put it up. It was a Night Lord for 30k. Definitely going to find a way to get that model into 40k because it looks amazing. The weapons can be used, but I'll find a way to see what I can do. There's also possibility of a sorcerer jump. There's the one with the ram skull helm thing, and that might be a jump sorcerer people are speculating, which would be really good, because jump sorcerers and jump lords are really good because that extra mobility is just key. The other unit that I think is very, very important, and I really wish this one would get an update because its loadout is much preferred a different way and not available to it, is Khorne Berserkers. Damn, they need a new box badly. The most optional loadout for them is, I don't think you can even build in the box. Now, I haven't built them in a very, very long time. We're going on about a decade here since I last built them, but I don't think holding dual combat weapons was an option for them, even in 7th. I could be wrong on that one, and I'm 90% sure their box doesn't really come with enough options. I don't think so, correct me if I'm wrong, but you can't really get like a chain axe in one hand and a chain sword easily in the other. But it'd be nice to get a new one of them because they do really, really well, and just having a bit more easier options would be awesome. So in general, I feel if you want to get the most out of your Chaos Space Marines and you want them to, what you see is what you get, you're going to have to put quite a bit of work into them unless there is a mass update. Also, 2 big points, and I feel this is from the idea of implementation of 8th edition. Not all units and Marine armies in general get Legion traits. This hurts a fair bit, and I'm still confused as to why. I think I've asked that a few times, no one's really given me an answer on that one. Just about every other force has full Legion or army traits. That applies to just about all their units, bar fewer exceptions. And this can really hurt significantly. The other thing is that Legion traits and Warlord traits in general are not as good as Codex creep has came on. I am a bit more forgiving in this, however. Legion traits were a fairly new thing. I think Chaos Legion's Traitor Legion's book, which came out in 7th, sort of added the idea of Legion traits, but obviously 8th then took it to a new degree. So I'm a bit, forgiving, because when, we were, when 8th came out, they were still new to this idea and how much it would reflect, and as they've added new codexes in and added new rules, they've certainly been able to go, we can comfortably know what this rule will do. And this is really by us as players playing the game and giving feedback on what we thought. They've been a lot more positive, and we've seen a lot more better Legion traits that I think have been more exciting than sometimes the one you see in Chaos Space Marines. Same with the Warlord traits as well. But I think that will all be something that will shift and change, and when we get a new Codex, now they've not even finished the current round of Codex, we're still waiting on Genestealer Cult at the point of putting out this video, but it's nearly a year and a half since Chaos Space Marines. So, and I feel for the first round of Codexes, they were a big beta one. There's going to be a few people who are going to go, oh no, I don't want to buy another book. Fair, okay, fair enough. But I feel there is some solutions to that one as well. In terms of, I think, I'll talk about that a wee bit later on. The other thing as well, no, like this is a more personal one, no storm shields, darn it, just give us them. I think I've complained about this enough. Just pick them up after you've killed those Terminators. Storm shield really, really handy. Just gives us more of an assault survivable Terminator, would be really, really nice. Already we have one Khorne Lord who picked up a Thunder Hammer, or had one, so maybe storm shields might be down the road, who knows. That's me, I just gripe about storm shields all the time. So finally, one of the biggest problems, and I find this is I find this in a few different codexes, but stratagems, relics, psychic abilities are almost broken up because of marks, though this is really evident in stratagems. So you can find this a problem in codexes with sub-factions. Example of this is Chaos Space Marines, Chaos Demons, Dark Angels. Don't take that as is, because they've got like Raven Wing and I think Death Wing, and then they've got regular Dark Angels as well. So you find that certain stratagems only affect certain units, and they've obviously then gone, right, we have to sub these factional within this faction stratagem. So it almost feels like if you design your army around one faction, you're losing a lot of stratagems, you're not getting as many as you want, and some of them can be really, really good. Where they've done that well has been Dark Elder, who they've embraced these differences of cults, homunculuses, forgive me if I get the wrong, Cabal. They've built around it, and they've given them all different warlord traits, they've given them all certain stratagems, etc., and it really, really works. And I feel that if you are going to build sort of sub-faction stratagems, they should be limited, which they are here, but you've got to be careful about how you go with them. Endless Cacophony, for instance, is hugely advantageous. It's a huge advantage, and it almost makes people go, well, I have to sort of have these Obliterators or Heavy Shooting unit as Mark of Slaanesh, because it is just so useful. And I feel that's a bit of a problem when you have these sort of sub-faction, Marks being in this one, Chaos Demons is, essentially each of the demon ones do have stratagems. When you combine it and you play a certain type of demon fully in your detachment, you're only really getting a handful of stratagems, a lot less than other forces, and I feel that's a real problem. So that, I think, it's much bigger problem for Chaos Demons, but it is a big problem for Chaos Space Marines as well. Areas to improve, well, just about everything I mentioned, there, to be honest. With 8th edition, we're having a fair bit of options of the way you can play, but sometimes the model's not available to do so, or at least the models may be available, but not the options that we can all encompass. GW is doing a great job of bringing new models out, but I feel this is a real point. We need to start looking at the old ones to get updated. Abaddon and everything aside, it's just, one, to help them become more representative of what the unit can be in terms of war gear, and two, just to make them look awesome. If you compare Chaos Terminators to, say, Blight Lord Terminators, they've came on a long way, and just some of the older models can look just phenomenal. So everyone's been asking for it, whether that happens or not. It would just be handy on a practical sense for weapon loadouts, but also the quality of minis, and even the past 5-10 years have just become stellar, and we just know the absolute potential many of these units can have. That's also a problem and a solution that's not exclusive to Chaos Space Marines. Elder players and other ones would be saying the exact same thing. So a new Codex, as I said, it's only been a year and a half, but Codex creep has been extreme. The first few codexes need a bit of work, and I feel the rules have sort of evolved since then. So I just feel that maybe the case of after summer there may be a review of this. But the other thing that might be, and I have a few ideas of what the summer should be, what I would think it would be. I'm not going to discuss that here in terms of what they should do, but certainly the first few codexes certainly need a bit of a rejig, especially with all the FAQs, etc. But a way that they are adding a bit of variety is that in the past White Dwarf, they added Crimson Fists, which is a cool idea. They added in traits, Legion trait, gave a bit more options. Would be nice to maybe see that in a couple of other forces as well. Some people maybe don't like it because it just adds books to carry, But I love options, I really do, and you know, some more faction representation would be cool. Red Corsairs, now they are represented by, you know, I think they're just Renegades. If they had maybe something else, which was Red Corsair, that'd be really, really cool, because you have Huron as a special character. There's another one that David really likes, I think it was the special character from 7th edition with Dark Angels. They had a really cool lore. That would be really awesome as well. So White Dwarf does give us a wee bit of an update there as well. But fundamentally, you know, the first few codexes did sort of pave way to the sort of trying out of 8th edition as things began to move out. We saw some really interesting codexes, so I'd love to see a new one on when it comes to Chaos Space Marines. Again, I can understand people not agreeing with that. So let's speak about sort of key units within the Chaos Space Marine Codex quickly. I'll go through the Codex, you know, sort of the useful ones according to HQ, troops, etc. So HQ, Demon Prince, they just hit hard, offer mobility, good aura, psychic ability to boot, everything I mentioned before. They are expensive but can't be targeted and can be a super threat. Plus they have some fun relics and stuff that really do make them kind of glorious. However, Chaos Lord or Sorcerer is useful as well, with a jump pack even more so. As I mentioned, the Skull sort of sorcerer is certainly, if it is a sorcerer, some people are saying it might be a Dark Apostle, we'll see, but if it is a jump sorcerer, certainly I'd love to add that because it looks amazing. Troops, cultists, they are cheap to the score, and they are cheap, especially not, you know, tragically they're not as easy to purchase anymore. However, 2 packs of 5-man squad of Space Marines and a Rhino can be not bad either. You know, you stem in a Rhino and you just move that unit as you need to get to where they need to be. Just don't expect them to do much. They'll do much the same as cultists, which is find points and capture them. Their damage is not great. I'll maybe go into that into a wee bit more detail later. But they will survive small arms fire a lot more than cultists, but anything a bit heavier, they'll die just as tragically as well. In terms of elites, we've got Khorne Berserkers, you know, or troops if you take them as World Eaters. These guys just chuck out dice, you know, until, you know, Bloodletters and Orcs came along. They will shred just about anything quite well. However, they don't have the optimised kit in their box. I'm 90% sure that's the case, but still they're really nice if you need them. Terminators, I feel, can be good. Take a large unit with Convoy Plasma, a Lord for rerolls, and Veterans of Long War, and Endless Cacophony. Drop them on a unit, and most things they look at and stare at, they'll probably kill or significantly damage. You know, just that Terminators are still really, you know, expensive, and with the right weapons, again, they die, such as Plasma. Plasma's a great way to deal with them. I really like the Hellbrute as well. They can die easily to anti-vehicle, but they don't have a deteriorating stat line, and the Power Scourge I think is really good. So Hellbrute I'm kind of good with as well, as long as, you know, it's more optimised war gear. Fast attack, tricky, can I pass? As I ain't too impressed by the fast attack choices in Chaos Space Marines. Bites can be nice for harassing in the new beta rules regarding bolters, are kind of handy for them as well as a little bit of an extra. Spawns can be cheap, fun, but easily dealt with, but can be good backline defenders. You know, if you don't deal with spawns, they can be a good ambush unit, but if you take one on its own, it's like giving easy first blood or first strike. Thousand Suns have a stratagem for spawns, which make them really good as well, but that's the Thousand Suns Codex. Heavy supports, Obliterators are potentially good but unreliable, which is painful. I've already said many times I believe there should be a stratagem that helps Obliterators become that bit more useful. Would be really good, but however, 2 of them with a Chaos Lord for rerolls and benefiting from Veterans and Endless Cacophony can be really devastating. I almost got, I don't know if this video went live, it might have. You know, David works with Obliterators and it just devastates me. Really, he just pulled off one of the best first turns with Devastators I've ever seen. But they are high risk, high reward when you do use them. Havocs can be very cheap sort of support, heavy weapons and special weapons. Benefit from Legion traits, so such as Alpha, which is really good. Adam stratagems and they're really good. But I also love the Defiler as well. I feel it's really iconic. With Demon Forge, it's really cool. It's a really good distraction, and when it's geared out well, it can do okay, and generally an absolute cool unit. You've also got flyers there, which is the Helldrake. Now, one thing I absolutely wish in the Codex was a new flyer, especially one maybe manned by Chaos Space Marines. There's plenty of options on Forge World, but just like a manned one would be amazing. But the Helldrake can be a good harassment unit. Find a unit your opponent is using as a gun line and just charge it, fly across the field, charge it, and try and shut it down. I lost a unit that I think was broadsides. David just charged it with Helldrake and I couldn't fire them, couldn't get away from them, it just kept charging me, and I couldn't deal with it, and it was being a real pain. So that's kind of their role in that one. And then for dedicated transports, you've got the iconic Rhino, which Rhino does Rhino things. Units to avoid, Demons and Fallen. Both in detachment will just be a bit of a pain if you ask me. They don't benefit from many aspects of the Codex. People say Mutilators, but due to their massive point drops, I think I'd look twice at them. I think they're now just above 100 points, give or take. And they're really enduring, and they can be a little bit of a threat. They can hold certain areas and work as area denial for your opponent. But I've not actually used Mutilators yet for their points, and they're still not any good. I don't expect much from them, but they are really cheap now thanks to Chapter Approved. So still one that people say avoid. And lastly, Vindicators. They are just really hard to work. Their stratagem can make them work well in big games, but all your opponent, if they see 3 Vindicators, they know what you're planning to do, and they will kill one, and then you're kind of stuck with Vindicators who will... random amount of shots always disappoints me, but I just feel Vindicators don't bring it as much as they possibly could. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on the Chaos Space Marines. Kind of negative, and I'm really sorry to end that, because Chaos Space Marines were one of the 2 armies that I first collected, the first being Dark Elder, which is my absolute first love. I would love to get him on the channel. I have a large Dark Elder army, but it was just, we decided to start with different forces. But Chaos Space Marines were my second, and I love them to bits, and I love that they're expanding them into different legions, which is amazing, and we're seeing the Demon Primarchs, which is really cool. But I feel with all these expansions on Thousand Suns, Death Guard, we are maybe forgetting the iconic, just the basic Chaos Space Marines, just a little bit here. The other thing as well, that's going to be a bit of a controversial argument as well, is that when we make arguments in terms of the Imperium forces, they say, oh yeah, we're now seeing the death of tactical Marines because of the Primaris becoming cheaper and doing what Primaris things do. Think how the Chaos Space Marine feels itself. They're not getting replaced, they're just getting almost sort of sidelong nudged away like the Tactical Marine, and that pains me. That really does pain me a wee bit. So yeah, I don't know if that's going to be an unpopular opinion. I think there's going to be a lot of opinions on what my opinion is on Chaos Space Marines coming my way here. When I do end sort of a Codex review, and maybe they might suggest to me, no, you need to do this unit, you need to do Harkin, I might go back. I do like to look back on some of the top comments from the videos that I have done in the past. So we'll start off with I'll keep them short. Some of them were huge, and I wanted to say them all, but it took me ages to say them. So we have Archive 31. I hate storm shields. Can I hear a hell yes? Yes, you can. You said a lot longer comment, this one, Lucius one, but I feel it's important. I hate storm shields as well. Yes, you can have a hell yes. I hate storm shields. Well, I love them, but we just don't get them. Next one is from, now I might pronounce this wrong because I've put it in really small. Alban P. No single joke about DA Dark Angels as heretics. 1 out of 10. This is on the Cypher video. Well, come on, I don't think, I could have added anything to the Dark Angel being heretics that haven't been, said for 10,000 times, Also, I'm kind of like a Dark Angels fan. I have the Loyalist ones, that's the one at Edge 2. They do have cloaks, and if you've ever seen, I wear a lot of long flowing jackets and things, so I kind of relate to them in that one. So I kind of like their style. What can I say? I like bad guys. Anyway, look, let's not speak about Dark Angels, because that's a whole can of worms. Next one we've got here, I really should make the names bigger before I started here. We have Dareko Grenthal. I hope if I murder these, I'm sorry. Yep, so Huron is pretty nice. My dad actually runs him, which I'm pretty surprised he picked up the game altogether, using with 2 squads of Chosen with Lightning Claws to run with him. It's a bit more on that comment as well. Yeah, that was in the Huron video. I just wanted to comment, it's nice to have, you know, obviously you're playing the hobby and then your dad picks up and he does like it as well. I think David has a family member that does play it as well, an older one. My family has no idea. They're like, what's these stuff? So, you know, and I'm like, well, it brings me enjoyment to hang out with my friends, so it's really cool. Really nice, I suppose, if your family got into it, especially lore is now just, you know, cool as well. So I just thought that was a really nice comment. I love it when like family can play together when it comes to 40k, and it's just good to play these games together. So I thought it was really nice, really liked it. Next we have Patrick Johnson. Always felt 5 attacks would have been more appropriate for Chaos Lord video. Preach brother. Yep, that'd be nice. I don't think we'll get it. I mean, it's about the same as most, you know, even Marines and a lot of, you know, faction leaders. You know, you get 4 unless you're a big boss, or Primaris. I think you get 5 or 6 or something. But yeah, no, certainly for Chaos Lords, if they're a bit more combo orientated, 5 would be super cool. But it was not to be. It was not to be. This just from Saleswoman from Hell in the Demon Prince video. Still the funniest username. Like when I remember specifically commenting back, so I try and comment back to videos. Roughly, I think it's like if you comment within about 5 videos, sometimes I'll go back and review them all. But the past 5 videos I review about weekly, and I try and get back to them. I remember reading Saleswoman from Hell comment. I was like, what a username! Yeah, I just laugh every time. Saleswoman from Hell. It's all one word. Yeah, cool. You go. Thom the Accountant, is that right? Yeah, Thom the Accountant. Never knew Tim Burton was so deep into 40k. That just for men hair treatment looks natural. Good on him. Nice review and breakdown. I haven't looked very closely at Chaos Space Marines. I'll look up stratagem vids for them next. Thanks for the video. Now I'm wearing a hat at the moment, you know, but usually my hair is sometimes a bit bigger if you've seen any of the other ones. Just I haven't bothered styling it because I've been lazing recently. You should have seen my hair back in the day. I used to be like heavy into 80s glam metal. I don't know if David will like cut in a photo of me. I hope he doesn't, but he might do it out of spite of what I used to look like. But my hair used to be huge, massive, a backcombed and everything. So my hair at the moment is a wee bit long, but certainly in these videos has probably been the shortest they've been in like 12 years. It was massive, like I blocked out suns and things, you know. So yeah, no, it was just really funny comment getting a bit on my hair, you know, and I'm like, ha, this is it short, mate, you know. That's nowhere near as what it used to be. Matt Adams, Sporty Cultists, all autoguns with Chaos Lords, making them fearless, can be a nuisance. Yeah, I think that's if you take the Iron Warriors Warlord trait. You take 40 cultists and you have to wipe them all out. You have to wipe them to a man because they are not taking a morale test. But you know what, why stop at 40 cultists? Just take as many as you can. Get your opponent to just have to sift through endless amount of cultists over and over again. Just be that guy, just be funny. You know, show those guards how to now sort of do the fearless thing. Lost My Sword games. Yep. I was playing against a Khorne Demonkin type army and he was rocking 3 Plasma Hellbrutes. One was down to 2 wounds and fired, wounded itself, then rolled a 6 for crazed, fired again, I presume this is Plasma, he decided I'm going to overheat again, and killed itself. Yeah, Hellbrutes. I think I talked about that's a funny way to, like, in your own phase you can craze yourself by using the Plasma and hurting yourself, but I also asked, did anyone witness anyone who killed themselves doing that? And apparently so. So yeah, Hellbrutes, they're a funny old thing. The war begins. Hey Tabletop Assault, just wondering if you'll do Chaos tactic videos on Forge World units, because there are a couple of useful units that really help Chaos players out if Hellbrutes aren't working out. I think that was in the Hellbrute video. Deep consideration this one, we did talk about it a wee bit. If I have time between the weeks, I'd love to get the review videos out more regularly, but they do take a wee bit of time to write. We're all busy with some of the other things as well, between filming and everything. I would love to do the Forge World ones because I feel there is so much of Forge World that can back up the Chaos Space Marines. I'm looking at Leviathans, Chaos Raptor, the Raptor gunship, which I do have one unpainted and it needs a bit of work. Just adds that element of a manned gunship, which I really, really want for Chaos Space Marines. So I think it adds a lot of elements that do help and bring variety as the Forge World units. Will I be covering them? No, I think it's time, really, it's been nearly a year I've been on this because I haven't been able to do 2 or 3 a week. I think it's time to move on to a new Codex. Sorry, Chaos Space Marine players, but whatever I move on to next is probably going to be quite excited. But if I have time, maybe I'll throw in a Forge World one every once in a while. So yeah, sorry, I'm not covering them at the moment. I'd be on for like another year doing Chaos Space Marines. Next up, Jesse Beausoleil. Talking about Possessed without talking about buff from Demon is kind of a loss. It's even more the case since you can summon them. So this was a great comment. I think it's in the Possessed one. They go into a massive comment about all the buffs, or at least the majority, I think it's nearly all of them, and a bit of their uses of demons that can, demon buffs that can help Possessed, and probably other demon orientated Chaos Space Marines, which is a few. Now obviously I'm not talking about the demons of Codex. I want to try and keep them to a Codex, because if I then talk about synergies, you can get lost down that rabbit hole. So, but that's a great comment. I encourage everyone to, if you're going to have a look at Possessed video and you're like, oh, I really can't bother with Possessed because Possessed are Possessed, that comment alone from Jesse Beausoleil is fantastic. It really does summarise them really, really well. So, you know, props to them, and it took a lot of work. Really, really impressed with that one. I thought that was absolutely fantastic. Next one is from, I can't pronounce that, Dahajda. Yep. Time for my boys in caps. Rubrics, you know, wait for the Codex, man. If I ever get round to reviewing the Codex, then you get to see a bit more personal on your boys. The Rubric Marines, I absolutely love them, and I think they've gone down points. It's been really, really helpful. So yeah, no, I really just love that. Time for my boys. Then last but not least, we have, if this is what I think it is, I really should have made these a bit larger. Yep, as well as the big Aristotle, and they've got emojis in it, and it's got bring, clap, back, clap, noise, clap, Marines, clap, with, clap, guitars. Well, they did, kinda. Like, this was made 5 months ago. I love this comment. I just saw it when I was doing, like, trying to build comments together, and I was like, they did, and you said this 5 months ago, so go you, the big Aristotle, you kind of nailed that one. I think they're actually re-bringing it back out again because popular demand. I didn't manage to get one. I actually ordered one and I didn't manage to get it, so I was really disappointed. So I've seen rumour that they're bringing it out again, so that'll be really, really exciting. But yeah, they did bring out that guitar one, and if you ever see any photos of me in my glam metal days, oh boy, I really should have put some of them out when it got released, because yeah, there was leopard print. And big hair. Oh man, those were the days. Anyway, Chaos Space Marines. So that's it for the Chaos Space Marines, and I feel really bad that I'm ending it on a bit of a negative. But I'm not going to lie, it's kind of my thoughts, and I feel some people, obviously, you know, we want to love Chaos Space Marines, but we also have to be truthful of what we think will help them move forward, what their strengths are, and where we might see them best. We probably want to see an evolution of Abaddon. I talked about him becoming Demon Prince. A lot of people are like, no, fair enough, he has rejected it many, many times. What's going to happen to him in the future, I don't know, but I really want to see him to be the big bad boss with Demon Primarchs and tell them where to go in their place, the evolution of his character. But there's many elements of the Chaos Space Marine Codex I would love to see move forward. Very intrigued to hear what people's thoughts are on this one. Am I being overly negative of Chaos Space Marines? Are these elements really needed? Should all, you know, with all the vehicles, a lot of them being demon engines, are they fine? You know, I think on the box front of Urban Conquest there was like an image of another possible vehicle that everyone's speculating that might be a demon engine. what are people's thoughts on Chaos Space Marines for the future? That's what I'm going to ask. That's what I'm going to end this video on. I think you know mine now, you know my thoughts on it, and I'm very, very intrigued to hear back from you guys what your thoughts are, and comment back and hopefully discuss with you guys. So thanks again for watching. Please comment, share, like and subscribe. Let me know what you want the next Codex to be. If I'm going to be honest, what it's probably going to be is probably going to be Necrons. The reason for that is that many people talk about Necrons not being as competitive, yet they are the army I have had the most success with on this channel. As of 8th edition, I've won most of my games that I have won with Necrons. So I feel that's a strong point that I should maybe talk about, but let me know what, you know, Codex, let me see what the general consensus of what people think I should maybe move on to. That'd be very handy. Check us out on social media for our current projects, and check us out on Patreon if you want to support us to bring you more content, because we love to. It is really, really awesome playing with you guys, well, playing for you guys, and hopefully in the future playing with some of you guys as well, and obviously in battle reports if we get around to it, and just bring us support means we can just bring more to you, which is awesome. So thanks again, and we'll see you on our Tabletop Assault Battle Report.